Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm, of course, your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about one of the worst teams I've ever seen in World of Tanks Blitz. Now, it's very rare for me to make a worst team video. The last one I made was truly an awful team. And normally nowadays, because there are so many teams out there, and of course, many of you guys have had awful teams as well, I really try to savor the best, worst teams out there. And I think today's team has a really high spot of being one of the worst I've ever seen. Now, the whole team wasn't bad. We had a couple players that did a good job. In fact, they were able to hold, and while they probably didn't get out the most damage, I give them credit. They did their job. Unfortunately, you need a whole team of players to win a battle, not half of a team. So, well, you're going to see what happens in today's video. Now, a bit of backstory is I was playing the WZ-113 GFT, the Tier 10 Chinese tank destroyer. I really like this thing. It's kind of like a T-110E3 that had a baby with an object 268. So it's got really good mobility, upwards of 42 kilometers per hour. It's got solid armor and a great gun. And because of that, you're actually able to get some really solid games out. In fact, I've been able to do 5,000 damage on the last battle I just played in it, on Oasis Palms, 4,300, Himmelsdorf 4,300, Naval Frontier. So all these games are really, really solid in the vehicle. Unfortunately, you can see quite a few of them were defeats, and that's one of the issues with tank destroyers, is nowadays they really just don't have the amount of hit points that I wish some of the heavily armored ones would to be able to contest the heavy tanks, because even if you shoot a heavy like an E100, it just kind of taps you back with a heat shell and you're down half health and he's down like a fifth. So yeah, that's the only issue with, I guess, tank destroyers, is they do struggle really winning games unless you're in platoon. But enough about backstory. Let's get into this replay. I know you guys probably want to see what is so bad about this team. So we're on Naval Frontier, and every time I'm on Naval Frontier, I'm going to do the same old thing. I'm going to push my tank right where kind of like my mouse is. I guess I can fly there now. But I'm going to push my tank to the same spot every single game as it starts off. Honestly, if you're against me on the enemy team, you'd probably do very well blind firing this bush, but usually I'll poke it in a way that I won't be blind fired. But either way, I usually drive to this bush. You'll notice that I'm probably heading there right now, as there is my tank perfectly camouflaged in the environment. But yeah, I push there, usually trying to spot heavy tanks that are trying to cross over to head towards heavy side. But over here, we've got a Bat Chatillon 25-ton, and he is just speeding along. Now, my rule when playing a Bat Chat or any lightly armored vehicle in the beginning of the game is the halfway rule. And the way that rule works is if you were to zoom out and look at the entire map, the halfway line is right about here. I just kind of space it like this, so clearly this is the halfway line in the game. Now, when I start off a battle, I am never ever passing the halfway point. And the reason for that being is because, of course, you don't know where the enemy team's going to push. You could use logic and say that the enemy team is going to end up pushing, you know, their heavies over towards this side, which they did. They pushed their E100 and their K91 over there. But you can never be certain, because sometimes a bad player is so bad they'll actually outsmart you by placing their tank in a spot you'd never expect, and it ends up ruining your battle. So this Bat Chat, though, to be honest, I don't actually understand what he was doing. He spotted the SU-122-54, and because of that, the Bat Chat's already been detected, and he's just continuing to plow on forth. And because, of course, I've already spotted the K91 off of this side, and as you can see, the E100 and K91 are now shooting at the Bat Chat, what that means is this guy knows he's detected, and yet he's still deciding to completely push forward, even though it's very obvious, judging on what has been spotted on that side of the map by me and the Bat Chat, that the team is over here. And well, you'll never guess what's going to happen. There you go. The Bat Chat has lost probably about 1,500 hit points already. And there goes the SU turning his tank, and boom, he's dead. Yep, there went one player right out of the beginning of the battlefield. I don't know if that guy was trying to troll or what he was doing, but that was just downright sad. So after I watched that happen, I was in, of course, a Discord call with my friends, and I was just streaming the games I was playing to him, showing him, I guess, how the tank plays. I'm really excited to see what this tank's going to be like in Update 8.2, how it's going to perform, but I just watched that happen, and I really think that I lost faith in humanity for a good solid 10-20 seconds there, just trying to think of what happened there. And the weird thing is, I've seen that player many, many times, so yeah, that's really just unfortunate. But either way, now we have contender number 2. We've already watched the Bat Chat do a mistake, which is called pushing off to the side. So now we've got the Foch trying to do the exact same thing. And of course, he has been detected, because there are tanks off to the side over here, which, believe it or not, are detecting them. So these guys are detected. And now the Progetto has clear shots on this guy. There goes the WZ-121, because, oh yeah, the U-100 turned around. So now, the Foch is now being shot up the rear by the E100. We've got the Progetto in the front. T110E4 is going to start turning around, and same for the Hori. So, yeah, that's the end of the Foch. Again, I just don't know what was going through the minds of these players. There's the Foch, there's an HE shell from the E100 in the rear, and he's dead. So that's 1 tank, 2 tanks, and 3 tanks that have all managed to die within literally the first minute and a half, honestly, because you don't even get to drive into the battlefield until probably about 30 seconds. So these 3 tanks have managed to die within 2 minutes of the entire game starting. Like, that's incredible. It's actually sad. I was barely even getting into position by the time this happened. Now, I will say, the rest of my players weren't awful. They did their job. While they may not have been the best players in the game, I don't care if you're not the best player. As long as you do your job as a heavy tank and you're able to hold the hill, that's all that matters to me. And as you can see here, I'm trying to hold. We're at 1,380 damage this battle. But clearly when you've lost 2 tier 10 vehicles, one of them being a bat chat, which is incredibly strong for spotting, getting really good focus fire on the rear of the enemy team or flanking, and as well we've lost a WZ-121, another incredibly strong medium tank, both of our mobile tanks. Yeah, that's basically the end of your battle. And now, of course, we're down that, whatever it was, the IS-8. He's dead. He just literally drove right out in the open in front of the E4. So he's dead. Our IS-7 is being shot at by the rest of the enemy team. But by this point, there's really nothing left you can do. So, let me know what you guys think about this team in the comments down below. I really don't know what to say. Truly a depressing moment for Blitz in this battle. Now, I don't really care too much. I've started realizing that I don't care too much about the teams or my statistics in Blitz. After I had a massive losing streak in my Object 260 for like 30 games, that was like 40%, and I was averaging like 3,500 damage. That was basically when I just gave up trying to actually win battles because, like, obviously winning's still great, and I'm always going to put in a lot of effort to try and win a game whenever I'm playing. But what I mean is, if I lose, I just don't care anymore. So, while this team was bad, I think it's more funny to try and think what was possibly going through the mind of that bat chat. The Foch I can somewhat understand, and same for the 121, because they knew that we had tanks on the front here that were putting cover fire, so that maybe it was possible they could come up the rear. Now, I don't think that their idea was smart, because I don't get why you do that, judging that you don't know where the rest of the enemy team is, but that bat chat, I can't even imagine what would be going through the mind, because as you can see, the guy's not a bad player. He's in fact averaging like over 2,000 damage in most of his tier 10s. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Was it a troll? Was it a mistake? Was this guy actually thinking that was going to work? I don't know, but well, there you have it. Teams in World of Tanks Blitz. I mean, I guess he didn't do 0 damage, but yeah, that was a pretty sad battle for World of Tanks Blitz. Usually, I don't do these worst teams things, but I always think it's fun to do a funny laugh video like this, and the best part about it is normally, as I said before, I normally don't do this because usually you guys have a lot worse teams than me, as you'll say. Now, of course, when I do YouTube videos and when I do the live tank gameplay, there might be some times when I retake the video. If a team is truly awful and like the battle's over in a minute, I'm not going to show it just because, well, if I'm making a review on the 113 GFT, which I will be after update 8.2, there's nothing really to learn there. You're just going to see my team die, and I'm not really going to show you the tank plays. So most of the time when you see me play battles on the live tank reviews, obviously it is live, but if a team is truly awful, or even I do truly awful, and I make a mistake, I'm just going to retake it because, you know, unless I'm dealing like 3,000 damage on a defeat, there's really nothing you're going to see that talks about the tank. So that's why normally on the channel you'll see higher damage defeats and victories, is just because I'm trying to really show what the tank can do while trying to say what goes on through my mind. Hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. This is just something that made me laugh. I didn't even care that I lost that. I was just wondering what kind of monkey brain you must have flanking the enemy team. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. Now, for any of you wondering why I do show the names of people in the videos that I do on World of Tanks Blitz Worst Teams, is because I want people to know that if you make monkey moves, you will possibly be shown on YouTube. I'm not holding back. I'm doing it. So don't make those monkey moves. Don't be YOLOing in I guess like that. But hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.